How's it going, Battlefield friends? Welcome back to another weapon review, the series where I take a look at the stats and figures of the guns in Battlefield 4 and tell you what I think of them. In a recent episode, I kind of went against popular opinion and gave the Ace 52 CQB carbine a lowly 2 out of 5. A lot of people really love the high damage of that weapon and think it's one of the better weapons in the game. But while I did appreciate the high damage, I did find that a lot of its other stats were pretty rubbish to kind of balance it out, which I felt made it a less attractive choice. So today we're going to take a look at the other alternative Ace carbine, the Ace 21 CQB, and figure out if this weapon's any better. So let's jump straight in with the stats and figures of the Ace 21 CQB with its damage rating. The Ace 21 comes out with the usual figures of 25 dropping off to 15.4. That's the usual figures received for the carbines, which results in a 4 to 7 shot kill. Like I discussed in that Ace 52 guide, the damage rating for that weapon coming out at 34 to 20, resulting in a 3 to 5 shot kill, was by far its best feature. But as a result, it came along with a dreadfully slow rate of fire, horrible recoil, and a tiny 25 round magazine. Because the Ace 21's not blessed with those extraordinary damage figures, it's instead treated some better all round stats, starting with its rate of fire, with it clocking in at 770 rounds per minute. This is nothing special when you compare it to the likes of the ACWR or the SG553, both those weapons have fire rates well into the 800s. But 770 rounds per minute is pretty competitive. It's on par with the likes of the M416 from the assault rifles, and it's pretty much the average figure we tend to see across the whole spectrum of weapon fire rates. It's enough to drop someone quite fast, but it's not too fast that it results in some dreadful recoil or results in you burning through your ammo in just a couple of gunfights. The Ace 21 does share the Ace 52's problem of a slow muzzle velocity, which doesn't really matter too much with it being a close range weapon, but it will mean you need to lead your shots slightly because of those extra milliseconds that it takes to reach your target. The recoil profile of the Ace 21 is pretty good. It's by no means the lowest, but it's definitely controllable. And it's got quite nice values which result in low side-to-side recoil, which is most important as that's the hardest type of recoil to control. Pretty good recoil figures combined with a nice rate of fire results in quite a controllable weapon, and if you fire out your rounds in controlled bursts, you can quite easily keep all shots on target without that muzzle climbing too high. Another area where the Ace 52 was at a real disadvantage was in its magazine size. That weapon could only handle a 25 round capacity, but it's a completely different story with the Ace 21, with this weapon having the highest magazine capacity at 35 rounds. This is obviously the defining feature of the Ace 21 CQB. All the other weapons, with the exception of the Ace 52, only come with a 30 round mag size, so just having those extra 5 rounds is really handy, and it's that difference between taking out that one extra bad guy. I always found myself being caught empty mid-gunfight with the Ace 52, but those extra few rounds in the Ace 21 really make a big difference. Both the Aces share pretty much the same reload time though, 2.1 seconds or 3.1 seconds from totally empty, so that's another reason why I think the Ace 21 kind of gets the upper hand. Those extra few rounds just mean you're not going to be stuck having to perform that super long 3-second reload too often. So all in all, while I don't think the Ace 21 is one of the better options in the carbine category, I do think it's a slightly more rounded weapon than the Ace 52. While the Ace 52 did have those awesome damage figures, the rest of its stats were kind of lackluster, whereas with the Ace 21 nothing really stands out as being amazing, maybe with the exception of that magazine size, which makes it pretty average, but also one that won't really let you down in any given situation. Still, I think there's much better options in the carbine category, such as the ACWR or that SG553, which is why my overall rating for the Ace 21 is a 3 out of 5. Which, if you remember, is one extra star than what I gave the Ace 52, which I'm sure will result in some angry comments on this video. But that's the whole point of these videos. I offer my opinion and give my own rating for the various weapons in Battlefield 4. Feel free to leave your rating down in the comments and let me know whether you prefer the Ace 52 or the Ace 21, or like me, would you just rather scrap them both and go with one of the other carbine options. If you want to check out my review of the Ace 52, don't forget to check out the link to the full playlist down in the description, where you'll find the link to the Ace 52's video, as well as all the other weapons that I've featured in this series so far. If you enjoyed my video or even learnt anything new, then I'd really appreciate a thumbs up just to help spread the word, and share the video with your friends. So as always, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you all later.